Law 10, infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You've heard the advice before. Avoid toxic people, cut off toxic people. And you hear it all the time. In fact, you hear it on social media, you hear it from your external family members, you hear it from friends, etc., etc., etc. And the ironic thing is that you keep hearing it over and over and over again that it just lost its value. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And with that, you are probably harboring one of these types of people in your life right now. And with that said, you probably have a few faces in your mind already. You can probably think of a few names right now. You can wake up super motivated to do the work that you know will move the needle towards your purpose. But let's say school is in the way. So you wake up, go to school, you come back, and you are gone. You are exhausted. And it's not exactly tired, but you just feel really unmotivated. So you cope and say, oh, I'm just tired. My brain needs a little rest. So you get about your phone and you start scrolling, or you play some video games. I'm guilty of that. But the thing is, I found out I found the exact cause of this problem. We are harboring a person with a very specific toxic trait. So in this video, you're going to find out what exactly this trait is, how to identify them, and the biggest mistake that I have made when dealing with this kind of trait, which has honestly destroyed, I'd say 100 hours of, at least 100 hours of productive hours where I could have got plenty of work done. So what exactly is this trait? This trait is having a lack of purpose. Now, this is a very specific type of toxic trait that I'm talking about in Law 10. So, but firstly, you must understand this. Why is it that these people harbor these kind of traits? Where did these traits even come from in the first place? No one is born with any sort of traits, right? I guess you're kind of right in that sense, because you are who you are because of the circumstances and everything that has happened to you. You are who you are because of everything that has happened to you. That is your belief system. And if you watch the movie Inside Out 2, I believe it explained it beautifully. In fact, all the past memories and stuff, they were sorted out and they were thrown into this little river. I'm describing the movie. They're thrown into this little river, and this river then created this sense of self. All the memories that were in the river created this sense of self. However, unlike the movie, it's not that easy to just pluck out the sense of self and put on a new one again. It's way more complicated than that. So if you're wondering why would they behave the way that they do, and why would they have the traits that they have, well, it's because of past experiences that has carved them into a certain way. Past experiences have carved me to have certain traits that I have right now, negative or positive. I somehow forgot this whole chapter in the script, but part two, how are you supposed to spot somebody with these traits? What is some key features that they would show off that you can pick up on? In terms of a school context, you can test them by asking them this question: what are you going to do during the holidays? And if they don't have this sense of purpose that they're working towards, they tell you something like, "Oh, I'm gonna nua in bed, bro." In Singapore, that means I'm just gonna bed rot the entire time of the holidays. And if you're not from Singapore, you probably hear something like, "I'm just gonna lie in bed, bro. I'm just gonna sleep, bro." Something like that. But if that person has some sort of sense of purpose, they say, "Okay, I'm gonna hit the gym like I don't know, three times a week. I wanna increase my body weight by X amount of kilos, and I wanna be able to bench X amount of kilos." Something like that. So they have a very specific, clearly defined goal that they are working towards. For me, during my current, I'm in poly right now, polytechnic, so I have a holiday, and I want to map out two different books. I want to map out the Laws of Human Nature and Mastery, both by Robert Greene. And of course, I'm going to keep on posting this because I realized that because of stupid exams, I'm 3 weeks behind schedule. So yeah, I got to catch up on the videos. At the same time, I want to map out those books. And the thing is that this is not targeted towards anybody because I've heard of not just one but multiple people say that, oh, I just want to nua in bed, bro. I heard of multiple people like that. And in fact, I was like that too. Back before I found out about anything I was genuinely interested in, I was only the most prominent trait that I had. And what I see in all these other people is that if no one is telling you what to do, you wouldn't do anything at all. And also, if you happen to notice any of these traits in yourself, then it's probably a good idea to investigate why is it you feel like that. Well, very likely it's because you lack a sense of purpose. But it's about time that you should probably start journaling and finding out where your sense of purpose lies, in which at least a rough field, so you have something to work towards. Because feeling like this lack of purpose is it's a painful experience to go through. It's almost like you're living like an insect, where you wake up you wake up, you look for food, you try and survive, and then you go back to sleep, and eventually hope that you reproduce. If not, you just die. You don't want to live the life of an insect. You're humans. You're blessed with consciousness. You're blessed with the gift of consciousness. So I'd say you'd probably want to make the full use of it. And if you want to find out more about how you find this sense of purpose, check out the rest of my videos. I believe I am the only person out there who is actively talking about this problem of a lack of purpose, because all the other YouTubers out there, they're all playing on this sense of false purposes. They'll try and put onto you, oh, you should make a lot of money, or you should, I want to pull a lot of girls or some shit like that. But they never really tell you to look within. They're giving you something that they want you to do so that you buy their course to do that something that they're good at, instead of actually finding out what is within yourself, what you are inclined towards. I mean, obviously, I'm not good at everything, so I can't help you with everything, but I can at least help you. I wouldn't want to say inspire, but help you look within yourself to find out exactly where your primal inclinations lie. So if you do notice these traits in yourself and you want to change it, this just go check out the rest of my videos. I'll be posting more about how to find your purpose and finding your natural inclinations so that you have something to work towards rather than feeling like an insect every single day. Okay. I know I keep adding new stuff over and over again, but I felt that I really need to add this in before people start calling me a hypocrite. So even though I say don't hang out with people with low grade purposes or like they have no purpose at all, don't hang out with them. Yeah, I still do. But the reason for that is because I have, number one, my main friends, which I can quote unquote fall back to like regenerate this purpose, and number two, I know when to withdraw. I'm still developing, I'm still learning this skill of take my mind where you want to take it, but I know I can bring it back. So even though I may be demotivated for a while, I can get that motivation back pretty quickly through a little bit of journaling, through hanging out with my main group of friends. And you may think, oh, okay, then so it's rather easy for this toxic trait particularly. Since they have a lack of purpose, why not we just give them a purpose? I can help them, right? You have a few friends in mind right now. I have a few friends in mind where I feel like if you just give them this sense of purpose, then that trait is now gone. However, to change a person's actions is to change their belief system. And thankfully, we actually have this thing that allows us to modify our brain a little bit called neuroplasticity. Allows our brain to make new connections and literally change shape to adapt for new beliefs or new muscle memory and stuff like that. However, it requires a large amount of energy for your brain to literally change in shape. Neuroplasticity will only happen when there's a reason for it to happen. When you throw a ball and it enters the hoop, there's no reason for you to alter your throwing pattern. You'll use the same throwing pattern again and again and again. There's no need to change it. But if you throw and you fail and then you realize, oh, okay, so I need to change it more towards the right side. Only then will your brain use some energy to change the shape, change the pathways and stuff, which is the same for this case. The brain must know that there is a flaw in its own way of thinking before it's willing to change. Otherwise, the only other way to change a belief system is to literally go back in time and rewrite history. But that's not possible. So yeah, which is the biggest mistake I made, is trying to save them. You can't save them. The best piece of advice I received about this was from my favorite author, Robert Greene, saying, accept people as facts. They are who they are because of everything that's happened to them. And you can't change what has happened to them. They are facts. The fact that they're behaving that way is because of certain events that's happened to them before, which you have no control over. There's no point trying to save them. You're only going to expend your own energy, which will result in less energy of your own to pursue your purpose. So, I wrote down here, how do you protect yourself from this trait? As cliche as it sounds, you must have an active sense of purpose and be constantly actively working towards it. If you're lacking something to work towards, then what's the point of trying to save the energy for? What are you going to save the energy for anyways? The energy is meant to be working towards something, right? But if you've got nothing to work towards for, why else would you be actively defending your mind if there's nothing to defend? You'll be like building a bastion to guard dirt. And secondly, of course, you gotta follow the basic advice of cutting off toxic people that you hear from social media and stuff. I won't teach you how to do that. You gotta figure that one out yourself. Ghost them or some shit like that. I don't know. You should figure that one out yourself. And lastly, you have to surround yourself with people with high power, high energy, and high purposeful energy. Because we humans are actually really interesting individuals. We are a specific kind of animals called social animals. And with that, we've adopted certain abilities to absorb the energy of other surrounding humans. If there's a human who's feeling sad, we automatically feel sad with them when they're feeling excited. When there's hundreds of thousands of people at a concert and they're all cheering for something, we would feel excited too, even though we don't really support whoever. We don't even know who's on the concert, but we will be excited because of just the sheer amount of people that is feeling excited with us. We would absorb their energy. And this goes the same with people without purposes. The people without purposes, they emit this low energy. It's not sad, it's just a negative energy in general. And you would feel that even if there's just one person, but if there's multiple people, it's even worse. It is multiplied. And you're constantly absorbing all this energy, and you would feel a lack of purpose too. You would feel tired and unmotivated. I experienced this a lot actually because a lot of people at my school, they don't want to be there. They have a false sense of purpose. It's not their purpose to want to pursue in this diploma. They're just there to pass the time. Or because I have to go for a diploma, so I'm going to go for a diploma. And they just randomly throw a dart. They picked one, turns out to be in the same one I'm in, and they're just there. And you could feel the lack of direction, that lack of purposeful strength, that purposeful energy. And you would feel this really dull, what in Singapore we'd call it sian energy. This unmotivated, constantly tired state. And being around them for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're gonna absorb all this negative energy as well. And it's like a plague, it's an infection, which is what Law 10 is. You're gonna feel all that negative energy and it's gonna stay inside your soul, even when you start doing your own work. But thankfully, I have found myself a pretty decent group of friends, which all have a stronger sense of purpose as compared to these other people in school. And I try my very best to stick around them because I feel that when I stick around them, I am motivated to do my own stuff. Like yesterday, I had just met up with a few of my friends who were in this group of high energy individuals with purposeful energy radiating around them. Just being around them, I was walking with them and I was taking a hike with them. So just being around them for like 3 hours, came back, I instantly felt the need, you know what? Let's record a video. I recorded 2 videos yesterday just sheerly because of the energy that they radiate and I absorbed it. You see where I'm coming from? It's absolutely vital that you stay away from the infection and you head towards an area with, how do I say this? That regenerates your mana. You know what I'm saying? Regenerates your mana is a gaming term. But yeah, that's about it. My name is Niguang, aka Nikerps, and this channel is all about sharing what I've learned about human nature and how you can leverage it in order to better find your purpose and to work towards it. Currently, I'm running this series on YouTube called Series 48, where I explain each and one of the 48 laws of power, that book right there, towards that side. Each and every one of the 48 laws of power in the context of today's day and age. Because that books were pretty difficult to understand, and there's someone to explain it to you in like a 15-minute video, why not, right? Yeah, that's about it. I shall see you next week for Law 11. Cheers, bro. Oomph.